Hi, Phanessa here. In this video, I am going to be demonstrating how to crochet this chunky cat hat. I just released the knit version. Well, they're both older patterns, actually, from 2017. I just wanted to update it and provide a video tutorial. Okay, so for the materials, I'm using yarn from Hobby. I'm using a 9mm crochet hook. You'll need a tape measure, any type of large eye tapestry needle, scissors, and a couple of stitch markers. All right, let's get started. Okay, so this is an old pattern that I am updating. I just updated the knit version of the chunky cat hat. This is the crochet version. So I'll leave a link for the knit version. Okay, starting with a slip knot. Leave about a 10-inch tail so that you can use it to sew down the base of the ears. Okay, so I'm going to chain 19. So this is about 9 inches. I think I'm going to chain 2 more stitches for a total of 21 chain stitches. I wanted about 10 inches. That's what I'm comfortable with. This is kind of, okay, so it is 10 inches. Into the second chain from the hook. So this is the first chain here. This is the second chain. I'm going to turn and work through the back humps or back loop. That's just a personal preference. You can work directly into the chains. Okay, so you're going to work 1/2 double crochet yarn over into the second chain from the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Okay, with 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. So you're going to work 1/2 double crochet all the way across to this side. Into the next chain. Again, I'm working through the back loop here, the back hump, yarn over, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So just work 1/2 double crochet in every chain stitch across. Okay, my last 2 stitches. So I started with 21 chains, and since we started on the second chain from the hook, we're going to end up with 1 less. So I have 20 half double crochets. Okay, for the next row, you're going to chain 2 and turn. So you can chain 1 or chain 2. I'm going to chain 2 here, and then I'll chain 1 later. Okay, so right here, you can see it's a little bit stretchier. Those are my chain 2s. And right here, it's, I don't know if you can tell, I can tell, it's tighter. That's where I chained 1. So it's really up to you, and it depends on your tension. I'm a loose crocheter, so the chain 1 looks better on my hat. So this chain 2 is not going to count as a stitch. We're going to work right into this stitch here. So these 2 are the chain 2, and this is the stitch you want to work into. So we're only going to work through the back loop. This is the front loop here. Normally you work through both loops. Okay, so 1/2 double crochet into just the back loop. Okay, into this next stitch here. This is the stitch. We're working through this back loop here. You're going to work 1/2 double crochet in every stitch across, just through the back loops. And that is pretty much what you repeat for every row until you have about 22 rows, or enough for the circumference of the hat. So that really is going to depend on your tension. So I'm going to work 22 rows, and then I'm going to see if that is a good size for my circumference. Okay, make sure you work into the last stitch. So if you're not sure, count your stitches. Right here, this is the last stitch for me. Okay, that was my turning chain. Okay, so I have 20 half double crochets. I didn't lose or add any stitches. I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that last row. Again, count your stitches if you're not sure. 1, 2, this one and this one are the chain stitches. So right into this one, we're going to work a half double crochet, again just through the back loop. If you have trouble following along, I will link beginner videos. Also, if you need this to slow down, there's an option on your video to change the playback speed. So you can slow it down and hear me talk really funny if you have your volume on. Or you can speed it up and hear me sound like a chipmunk. Okay, so I have 22 rows. I ended on the opposite end of my tail, and I wrapped this around my head, and I was happy with the size of it. This is about 17.5 inches when it's not stretched. You don't want it overstretched, but you do want to stretch it to basically the point of where or how it would sit on your head. So that would be about here. For me, that's like 21.5 inches. The best thing you can do is wrap it around your head to see how you like it. Okay, so let's work the seam. Okay, so we're going to bring the beginning end, so the end where you started, your foundation, bring that up, and we're going to work slip stitches across. So your beginning stitches may look different. I have these loops that are neat on the edges. That's due to working through the back loop. So if you did not work through the back loop on your foundation row, it's just going to be one loop, and that's fine. So if you have one loop, go through one loop. If you have two loops like this, go through both loops. So insert your hook, and then on the last row here, that's where we ended, we're going to work through the back loops. Okay, one slip stitch into the next stitch, and then back loop on this side, and so on. So I'm going to repeat that all the way across. I want to make sure that I have the same number of slip stitches as I do the stitches, and that was 20 half double crochets. Okay, I'm at the last stitch here. Count your stitches. Okay, let's turn that around because this is the seam on the inside. So this is pretty much your seam. It's an invisible seam. It blends right in with the pattern. Since we ended on this side, this is the side that I'm going to close up for the top of the hat. At this point, because it's here at the beginning, I'm just going to fold it in half like this so that this becomes my edge. I just wanted to show you what that looked like, but you want to work your seam on the wrong side as well. Okay, so I'm back on the wrong side. Now I'm going to work slip stitches in this direction. So right here, I'm just going to go right through the next stitch and then to the other side, right through this section here, the next section. And you can always fasten off and use a tapestry needle to weave it in. I prefer to just work slip stitches. I try to go through 2 loops when I'm doing this so that I don't create big holes. And what I mean by that, for example, right here, I'm going to go through 2 loops. It's a little bit more secure, okay? And on this side, I'm going to go through 2 loops, as opposed to just going through a space here where there's just 1 loop. Okay, so I'm going to work this all the way across. So you want to make sure that your hat is divided in half. There are, if I look at the bumps on this side, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this 6th one here is going to be a corner, basically an edge. On this side I have 5 as well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to fasten off and leave a long tail for this one. Again, I'll show you how to sew at the base of the ears if you wanted to go that route. So I'm just going to pull the tail through the loop. Before I weave that in, I want to show you what it looks like on the right side. So you can stop here because once you put it on, the shape of your head causes these 2 corners to pop out. It's just like the knit version. So if you're done, you don't want to sew the base of the ears, go ahead and just weave in all your ends and you're good to go. If you want to add 1 round of single crochets at the bottom of your hat, then fasten on anywhere, and we're going to work 1 single crochet into the side edges here, just like you did when you closed up the top. So try to get through 2 loops. So right here, work another single crochet. And then I'm just going to work single crochets around the hat. If it starts to get a little wavy, then you want to pull it out and work less stitches. And if it starts to pull in and get too tight, then go ahead and pull out and place more stitches around. Okay, so I'm just going to continue this all the way around, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to the first single crochet. Okay, so I've worked all the way around. Let's see, I think I can fit a couple of more stitches here. Okay, so there's still a gap here. I'm going to work one more single crochet. Okay, right through there. Now I'm going to work a slip stitch to the first stitch. Okay, so I'm going to fasten off here. Going to just pull the tail through this loop and then just weave in your ends. If you do want to sew the base of your ears, I'm going to use this strand here. You can always fasten off and fasten on a new strand. I'm going to start here and about here, and then let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 stitches down. 1, 2, 3, about right there. I'm not going to place my marker until I'm on the right side. I'm just going to work a seam through the edges here until I get here, because I'm going to use this to sew the base of the ears. So bear with me. Again, you can fasten off. And fasten back on. Okay, so right about there is where I want to start sewing. So I'm going to just push this through to the other side. Okay. So you can take a tape measure and measure the edges if you want, so that it's consistent on both sides. Mark where you want to start and stop. I'm just going to mark where I want to stop. So 1, 2, 3, about 4 stitches down on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches down on this side. And then I'll start up here and go in this direction. So I'm just going to sew diagonally across. I want to make it as least noticeable as possible, so I'm going to follow this and go through here. What I mean by that is, if I pull this, it looks like it's part of that stitch right there. This one, if you see, if I ended up here, so I'm just going to go directly down here. And then I'm just going to continue across. Okay, I'm almost to the stitch marker. So now you have sewn the base down. So right there. With the knit version, I actually secured it on the inside as well. Let me show you what I did. Although I don't really think it's necessary, but you can if you want to. So this is the flat part of the base of the ears. And what I did is I just weaved through the stitches right here on the base, just so that I can secure it a little bit more. And then I'm going to secure and fasten off on the wrong side, so on this side here. Okay, so I've got my ears here, and now I'm going to do this side. So I'm going to use the beginning tail for this ear. I started here, so I want to start about right there. This is a little bit short, so again, I'll make a note in the pattern and in the beginning to leave a longer tail. So I'm just going to do the same thing back and forth. I'm just going to continue and sew the base of the ears down. You just want to make sure that it's not too obvious you have a piece of yarn going across the base of the ears. It's a little bit more noticeable in the knit version. Before you fasten off on the other side, make sure you're happy with how it looks. I'm going to do the same on the inside for this one, and then we're done. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will link the knit version if you'd like, and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps out my channel. For those that are already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. I will see you next time.